What's going on, guys? Homewrencher here. I've been promising you guys an interview for some time, and it's been delayed, it's been put off. I've been busy, I've been working a lot. Mama Bunny's been busy. Mama Bunny's got school. She's going back to school to be a licensed therapist. So there's just really been a lot going on here at Homewrencher Studios, aka Home. So I have a bunch of questions here from you guys. It's been emailed. People want to know about me and what makes me tick and what I do, what I do, why I do what I do. And some of the stuff Mama Bunny wrote down that was part of her questions. So we're going to go through it. It's just going to be me and you guys. And we're going to dig into it and get things going. But it's colorful cards in Mama Bunny's handwriting. It's really fine. So something you guys have never seen. I got to put on my Jeepers Peepers Creepers windshield wiper things. So I think it's only fair that I answer this question after I do this. Gotta have a PB blaster. Refueled. Alright. So, this question here comes from Laney Masterson in Muncie, Indiana. Homewrencher, why do you call beer PB blasters? Well, it's easy. I was filming one day, and I was using PB blaster to spray nuts and bolts and stuff. And I had my beer right there. And it's PBR. That's what I drink, in case you guys didn't notice. I drink some things, except for Bud Light. Nope, not doing it. And I meant to say, I'm going to get me some of my PBR, and I said PB Blaster. I realized what I said, but I also realized that it's kind of comical. It's funny. So from now on, this is my PB Blaster. So we're going to move on to question number 2 here. Now this is from Mama Bunny for her list that she had going. Where did you grow up? Well, I'm from a really, really small, very unknown town in Florida called Tampa. It's not small. I'm originally born and raised outside of Tampa, Florida, in Riverview, Florida. And I wish I could go back to when I grew up. We had so many things that we could do. We could fix and work and wrench and make and build, and my dad would bring me stuff home and say, if you can fix it, it's yours. I had dirt bikes, motorcycles, four-wheelers, three-wheelers, boats. I mean, whatever I wanted. People just threw stuff away because it wouldn't run no more. And it just needed a spark plug, or it just needed carburetor cleaned, or maybe the tank was stopped up, or fuel filter was bad, or the recoil spring broke or something, you know. It was always something simple. But yeah, I'm from a little small town of Florida called Riverview, just outside of Tampa, in Hillsborough County. This one is from Michael Stevens in Bozeman, Montana. Do you enjoy driving a semi-truck? Nope, I sure don't. I used to. I used to love it. But now, traffic and the way people act in traffic is just mind-racking. people don't use their turn signals. They cut you off. They'll run you over. And they're in a little car and you're in a big old semi-truck. They don't care. They just right in front of you, slam on the brakes, and they're worried about getting somewhere 1.2 seconds faster. And they're not worried about their safety. You guys out there driving every day and not driving in a big truck, remember that. When you jump in front of a semi-truck, we can't just slow down and stop and not hit you. Unfortunately, we can't stop as fast as you can because we got 80,000 pounds behind us shoving us down the road. So stay behind that truck. Let him get off the exit. You go where you need to go safely so you get home to your family. And that way we don't have to drive our truck into your taillight housing and maybe send you home to Jesus. I don't want to do that. This is a Mama Bunny question. What is the hardest challenge you've had to overcome in your life? My drug addiction. I was injured in a motorcycle accident in 2004, and it left me partially paralyzed and no use of my left leg, and my knee was obliterated. My leg was destroyed, and they wanted to amputate my leg. And I said, you're going to amputate my leg? You might as well just amputate my head. I'm not letting you do it. So they wound up putting me in like an air cast splint and sending me home with a bunch of narcotics. Well, I started liking those narcotics, and I had the back injuries and stuff too, and back and forth to doctors and doses and raising doses, and then I started being able to walk and move again. And most of you guys don't know, I was a custom car builder. I built cars for shows, stuff that went to Barrett Jackson, auctions and stuff, and I did things similar to like Richard Rawlings and what was the other show that was on TV? Like Barris and what was the show on TV with the Boyd Coddington? I did stuff like that. I had at one time one of the biggest shops in Louisville, Kentucky, and I started in Florida as a kid. I left home when I was 14. And I opened my first custom paint and body shop when I was 17 years old. And up until 17, I went to school and I also worked for local shops. And I started going in and sweeping the floor and picking up the trash and helping tape up cars and wet sanding and polishing and putting carpet in. And I started learning how to do stuff. And then, before you know it, I went to work for a company called Mustangs and More on Causeway Boulevard, 6315 Causeway Boulevard in Tampa, Florida. And I worked for a man by the name of Keith Smith. And he now has Keith Smith Mustang. He's a world famous Mustang restoration specialist. And I worked for him and William Basler. And they taught me a lot. Keith taught me how to paint. Keith taught me how to do body work. Keith taught me how to build motors. Keith taught me how to properly restore a Mustang concourse trailer quality. And I absorbed that into this sponge up here that most people call a brain. And to this day, it's there. I can rattle off part numbers. You can tell me a part number. You can tell me what car you got, and I can tell you what the code on the VIN is supposed to be and what it's supposed to have and this and that. But you don't need that. You got Google now. You got VIN decoders. So, oh well. But yeah, the hardest challenge I had to overcome was my drug addiction. I let myself get out of hand with my narcotics that I was taking, my opiates for my pain. And I relied on them. And back in the 90s and early 2000s, the doctors just shoveled that shit and gave it to you like it was M&Ms and told you it was going to fix your problem. And it didn't do nothing but turn you into a drug addict. And that's what I became. I became a drug addict. And I lost my family. I lost my kids. I lost my business. I lost everything that I worked hard for. And if I could go back and change things, I would have never got on that Harley. And I'd have never had that wreck. But I have a new life. I have a new wife. I have a new family. I have new children in my life. And I wouldn't change that for nothing either. So, some things happen for a reason. So, who's going to judge me besides God? God's only going to give me what he thinks I can handle. And he's given me a lot, and I've handled every bit of it. I may not always handle it perfectly, but I've handled it, I've done it, and here I am. And now I want to try to pass things down to you guys. This is another Mama Bunny question. What would you consider your 3 biggest accomplishments? Getting away from home through an abusive family. That was probably my biggest accomplishment because I'm alive. I come from an abusive background. My father was very abusive. Mentally, physically, emotionally, verbally, you name it, he did it. I had other things that went on in my life that I won't get into, but most of you can probably understand. Life wasn't fun. It wasn't easy. But I'm not going to let that hinder me from who I am today. My second biggest accomplishment was going through that and being able to finish school, go to technical college, attend some college. This was in the early years. And become a car builder that pretty much lived to make people happy and put my art on their canvas. My third biggest accomplishment definitely would be overcoming my drug addiction and getting my life back together. That stuff had a hold of me, and I was spending all my money to take care of my addiction. I wasn't out there doing methamphetamine or crack or cocaine or, heroin or nothing, but, I was relying upon those opiates. It was just a matter of time before I stepped forward and went to something else. Put myself in rehab and got myself straight, and here I am. I'm here. I'm healthy. I go to work every day. I support my family. I take care, pay bills, and make videos and say stupid stuff to make you guys laugh. What have I learned about myself and the person that I've become? Well, I've learned that I can actually handle a lot more than most people would think they can handle. And the person that I've become, I didn't become my father. And that was my main thing that I didn't want to become. I became a man that understands his children and tries to do what he can to teach them and guide them and just try to be a good father. I wasn't always the best father in the past. I made mistakes. What parent don't? I'm still trying to rekindle my relationship with my children. It's not looking too promising. I got an ex-wife that probably said a lot of things about me that wasn't true. One of those deals. And I've tried. I've been trying to get a divorce from her since 2012, and I've not been successful. So I need to come up with the money and hire an attorney to get that divorce for me, because I really want to marry Mama Bunny, and I really want to adopt these 3 boys. They make me happy. They give me purpose. I get up every day and do what I do in life for her and for them. Nothing would change my thought on that. All right. This is from Zachary Robinson in Nashville, Tennessee. How you doing, Zach? Good question. What is my dream car? That's easy. A 1958 Plymouth Fury. Red and white. Yeah, Christine. First time I saw that car when I was a kid at the drive-in when it first came out in 1983 in the movie. I saw that car and I told my mother and father, that is my car. That's my favorite car. I love that car. I will have one. And I did have one. I didn't get to finish building it and I wound up selling it. Why? That's when I was taking them pills. And I just got rid of everything. I didn't care. I think I sold the car for like $5,000. I seen one go at auction here a couple weeks ago for $275,000. Who'd have thunk it? How old was I when I worked on my very first car? I would say I was about 4 years old. Used to go over with Mom and Dad to Grandpa's house. And he had a bunch of old Impalas and Caprices, and he liked his big cars, like that old Lincoln out there. He had one of them. That big Lincoln we revived a couple weeks ago, he had one of them too. Now, I was born in '78, but that body Lincoln was around from like 75-ish to 79. And I remember he had one of them, and we used to do burnouts in the driveway with it. It was just fun, you know. And my grandfather was that kind of man. We called him Pop. And Pop would get out there, and he would toss you the keys. You're 6, 7 years old. He'd show you how to hold the brake and what to do. And here, push that, and we're going to do a burnout. Here, this is how you pop the clutch. And here, get on the column, and this is reverse, and this is first, and this is second. And, you know, the man taught us stuff. We got out there barefooted and cut our feet on glass and stepped on splinters and nails and got tetanus and got herpes and AIDS and whatever. I mean, we got everything. And they didn't have shots for all that stuff back then. So that's probably why I'm so weird. But yeah, I was just a little fart back then. What was my first car and how old was I? Well, I was 14 years old. I was walking home from school, and every day I would walk past this house, and there was a Malibu Classic sitting in the driveway. It was a 1979 Malibu Classic, two-door, had the 262, the little baby V8 in it. And I went up there and knocked on the door one day, and the man said, you know, that car ain't ran in years. I did an oil change on it about 4 or 5 years ago, and I forgot to put the drain plug in it, and it seized up. Okay. Well, what do you want for the car? He said, you get it out of here by this weekend, you can have it for $50. Okay, well, I got that in my box bank thing at the house, you know. Actually, it wasn't a box. Remember them big old Tootsie Roll banks? I had one of them, and I had like $70 in there. So I went down with my father's guidance, and I got some gas, I got some carb cleaner, I got some oil, I got a drain plug because it was gone, a breaker bar, socket, and a big pry bar. Pulled the inspection cover off, and poured oil in this thing, put the drain plug in it, and got the motor worked back and forth, pulled the plugs out, and dropped, you know, oil down in there. And luckily, come to find out, it didn't seize up, but the boy that was helping him shut it off and said, you lost your drain plug, your motor's going to lock up. And he thought he said it was locked up. But it wasn't locked up. It was dry. It did a little damage to the cylinders, but lo and behold, I got that thing running. And I drove it home. So technically, that was my first revival. I was 14 years old, and by listening to my father and my grandfather, I was able to bring a car back to life and bring it home. And I've been doing it since. You know, there's a lot of guys out here, and I give props to guys like Derek and Kevin and, you know, Vice Grip Garage, Derek. Kevin from Junkyard Digs, you know, Dalton, Pole Barn Garage. These guys are out here doing the same stuff. They're younger than me, you know. I've been doing this stuff a lot longer, but I've never been articulate to get on YouTube and try it. And I've decided to come out and do it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But I enjoy to do it, and I enjoy to show people what I like to do. And if you think I'm funny, that's fine. But if you don't think I'm funny, I don't really care. I'm just being me. I'm not being these guys. I'm not trying to copy these guys. If you've known me my whole life, and any of my family that's watching this, put down in the comments, am I like this in real life, or am I just making it up? Clack it down in the comments. Who made the biggest impact in me becoming a mechanic? I'd say my granddad. because he was always working on something and having me help. We were pulling motors and rebuilding tractor engines and dropping transmissions in semi trucks and putting rear ends and gears and just everything. Putting sleeves and doing in-frame diesel semi-engine rebuilds right in the daggum middle of the driveway. And I didn't want to be a mechanic, but I learned it. I had other things in life that I wanted to do, but things didn't work out because I had to leave home. But I fell back on what I knew and what I learned, and I started making a living doing something that I enjoyed. This one is from Brittany Stevens. What is your favorite part of restoring a car? Definitely laying the paint. I love to spray paint. And clear coat, to me, polyurethane clear coat, smells like candy. I love it. And anything urethane has a sweet smell, and I love the smell of it. I know I'm supposed to wear a mask, but when I start spraying clear, I pull the mask away and take a couple puffs, and I'm just like, God, it smells good. DuPont, when I was a kid, or not a kid, but when I was younger, the 7900 S clears and a chroma clear, a chroma base, they almost had like a sour apple Jolly Rancher smell to their clear, and I loved it. And I sprayed a few and masked off, and boy, I tell you what, I was floating on cloud nine after that. In my opinion, what makes the best mechanic? A mechanic that isn't arrogant and just jump into something and think they know what it is without trying to look at all the evidence and figure out what the problem could be. You know, the mechanic that says, oh, you're not getting spark, your distributor's bad. Not necessarily. Or your module's bad. Not necessarily. Are you getting voltage to the distributor? Are you getting voltage to the coil? Do you even got a good contact or ground anywhere? I mean, do your research and check it out. Don't be arrogant and say, oh, yeah, that's what's wrong with it. I'm telling you right now, I'm the world's best mechanic. Because you're not. There's no such thing. A professional learns something new every day. So don't say you're a professional and you know it all, because you don't. If you're a professional, you learn something new every day. Remember that. What is some advice I give to people who are scared or insecure of working on their cars? Get over it. It's cheaper for you to fix your car yourself. Watch some moron on YouTube like me or Derek or Josh, Sleeper Dude, any of these guys that have, I mean, there's thousands of us on YouTube that work on stuff. You can Google whatever car it is you got, or clack it onto YouTube, whatever car it is that you're working on, or what the problem is, or what's broke, and something's going to pop up. There's going to be a video. Watch the video. See if it's the same problem. Maybe there's a fix without spending money. Try that first. Then move forward. Get yourself a set of tools and be confident. You don't learn how to ride a bicycle by looking at it. You don't learn how to read just by staring at a book. You've got to learn how to sound out the words. You got to learn the alphabet. You got to learn how to vocabularies work and stuff. Baby steps. Work into it small. That's about the best thing I can give anybody that's scared or unsure. This one was from Michael Collins in El Paso, Texas. Sorry, I couldn't read that. And it simply says, Ford or Chevy, and why? Bow ties all the way, baby. Sometimes I bleed blue, but real guys wear bow ties. And why? Because GM has built a lot of bulletproof engines that are cost effective and cheap and easy to work on. I could go out in the field and take a GM product with a GM engine that's been sitting there for 40 years. And usually within an hour, I can have that thing running and sitting there and idling. Well, some of the older Fords I can do that too also. Mopars are a little more stubborn. They're a little more finicky. Any of the older cars are good. I say when you start getting like mid to early 70s forward till now, things took a decline. Workmanship and quality took a big dive. And it shows. Look at society, unfortunately. This one's upside down. What is my least favorite type of vehicle and my favorite to work on? Least favorite is usually something like a Volvo or something that you never can get parts for. Or when you try to get parts, they're on back order for 9 years or 16 decades, months, whatever. Probably my favorite ones to work on is definitely an old GM. Because I got those parts laying around my house in boxes and toolboxes. They're in the back of this Escalade, and I could pretty much start and run whatever with what I got already. So those are about my favorites. This one is from Steven Tyler. Is that Steven Tyler? Are you the real Steven Tyler? I don't think so, because you're down in Miami, Florida. Maybe you might be. But Steven wants to know, what music makes the Homewrencher tick? Well, if you guys have ever watched any of my intros, you hear a version of Disposable Heroes by Metallica. But it's not Metallica. It's a What If It Was on the Injustice for All album, and it's done by my buddy Calvin over at State of Mercury. Now go over and give him a follow and check him out. He is a super brain. He goes and rewrites Metallica songs and Megadeth songs and other songs in the style and tone of Metallica, and then puts them through his own soundboards and makes them sound like other albums. He's got Black Album songs that sound like Injustice for All, Kill 'Em All. I mean, just everywhere. And now with AI, people are taking his songs and putting the AI with it, and you get a song that you've never heard before, and it kind of makes your hair stand up and brings a tear to your eye because it's amazing. And there's some other people out there, AI Playgrounds and Green Mile and Puppet Master. Do a Google search and check those guys out. They have some amazing AI work. And I've heard some songs that I've never thought that I'd hear James Hetfield sing, and he does pretty good. So give those guys a shot. But definitely, when I'm working on something, it's time, it's serious, and I've got to get it done, you better bet that some Metallica is going to be playing on my stereo. What hobbies do I enjoy besides working on cars? Well, I like to knit. No, I don't like to knit. I don't even know how to do that. I don't know. I like to hang out with my boys, make YouTube videos, um, build things with wood. I like to work with my hands, even if I'm not working on cars. I work on anything. I'll work on a lawnmower. I'll work on a washing machine. I'll work on a oil rig. I don't care. I love to pretty much work on anything. If I'm using these things right here and I'm fixing something, I'm happy. Tell us about your family. Well, almost 2 years ago, I met my beautiful bunny on TikTok. That's what I said, on TikTok. She was being bullied by somebody. They were doing a battle side by side on the screen, and I jumped in there and I basically shut it down and ended it. Because this guy was trying to get gifts from people and wasn't allowing her to talk. And he's getting all the gifts and he thought he was hot poopy because he got, $20 worth of gifts. And I seen this going on, and I'm like, this woman's beautiful. And she's sitting there, and I could see she's distressed. And I just started dropping hundreds and hundreds of dollars of gifts on her. I mean, I blew her up. And it came in just in time because she had been going through some things, and it was right before Christmas time. And she was trying to get Christmas for her boys. And I touched her, and I blessed her. And, well, she sold her house and packed up and left New York and came here to be in Kentucky with me. And the rest is history. I love her. She loves me. There's nothing that's going to pull us apart. And I love those boys as they're my own. And they're great kids. I couldn't ask for a better family. I'm happy. I kind of cheer up a little bit on that one there. It's kind of like a Prince Charming story or something there. It's a good feeling to know that you can love somebody and they love you just the same. And what you put in, you get back. And I'm not used to that. Every relationship I've always been in has always been do for me and, well, F you, that word, that term, yeah. That's pretty much been my life. I need to blow my nose. I'm going to be right back. Nose blowed. I can breathe now. So we're back. But you know what? I'm starting to get a little tired. So I think we need to refuel. Refueled. Let's get back to some more questions. Now, this one kind of hits hard. Do you enjoy being a father? Absolutely. I enjoy being a father. It's hard because the world we live in today is different. Society's different. We've got social media things and internets and video games out the wazoo, and it's hard to gain the attention of a son. It's hard to get 5 minutes to speak. It's hard to sit as a family and have supper or do something together because social media and video games and peer pressure and whatever is going on in the world that they're being pressured into listening to or hearing about, or things they're being taught that's not right. I'm not trying to get banned on YouTube, so I'm not going to get into all that and what my feelings and thoughts and values on all of that is. But I will say I wish that being a father was as easy as it was, 25 years ago or more. I love Dominic and Christopher, and my little AJ, like you just wouldn't believe. They're my heart. They make up a lot of who I am. And without them, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't do what I do. But I most certainly enjoy being a father. And I hope I'm around for many more years to see them grow up and become fathers themselves. And hopefully they turn out to be a better father than me and a better man than me. Because ultimately that's the goal as a father, is to raise your sons and your daughters to be better than yourself. And that's where this world's messed up. Everybody's become best friends. You don't have to be best friends with your kids. You are their best friend because you're their parent. You're their creator. You're their mentor. You're the person they look up to. From the time that they're born until the time that they get married, they look to you for guidance and advice and teaching. So be a good parent. Teach them properly. Teach them the right way. Teach them the wrong way too, so they learn how to not do it. I don't know. It's parents just aren't parents anymore, and I'm not going to elaborate into that because that's going to be a totally different theme for a totally different channel that I'm not making. Maybe Mama Bunny will bring me onto her channel one day, and we'll get into all that stuff. Or I don't know. We'll see what happens. Who are my modern inspirations from past to present who make me do what I do? Well, George Barris, John Kosmowski, which I got to meet and talk to at Ford Fest this year. That was freaking awesome. There's nothing like meeting one of your mentors and sitting and talking to them and talking about, painting cars or building motors or climbing monkey bars or whatever you like to do, and you meet the mentor that pioneered that field. Those guys were great, and I looked up to them. Big Daddy Don Garlits, great man, great race car driver. But as far as modern inspirations that have me doing me that I've always been, but making these YouTube videos for you guys and for myself, Derek Berry, Vice Grip Garage. I love you, Derek. I'm glad that I stumbled upon you, and you taught me that it's okay to be me. And if somebody likes me being me, then so be it. But if they don't, who cares? You know? Josh, Sleeper Dude channel, be sure to check him out. I see you being a father and working together with your family and conquering the obstacles that you conquer and doing what you do. And that inspires me to be more informative to my boys and to teach them and to make them do things, not make them, but to include them into doing hands-on activities and learning how to do stuff. Most kids this day, they don't care. They think money grows on trees and they can just pay somebody to fix their stuff. Well, why pay somebody to fix it if you can fix it yourself with common sense and some basic tools? You know, there's a lot of you guys out there that, Kevin from Junkyard Digs, he's the same age as my son, and he gets out here and he does the daggum thing, and he reminds me a lot of myself at that age, and I admire him. He's a very, very intelligent and very straightforward young man, and he has a great channel. If you guys don't know who Junkyard Digs is, go check out Kevin's channel, Junkyard Digs, and also his fiance, girlfriend, ish type person, Junkyard Mook. Be sure to check her out. And also, if you guys don't know Richard and Christina Rust, What the Rust channel, go check them out also. I'm looking forward to working with them here pretty close in the future on some revivals. He just had some heart surgery. He had his aorta valve replaced, I believe. And he's been down for a while, and we're looking to getting together and doing some revivals together here in the future, hopefully. So be sure to stay tuned to my channel, and also go subscribe to Richard's channel, and make sure you subscribe and hit the like and hit the notification on him as well. Next question. Well, that's pretty much the same question. This one is from Tito Oliveras in, I can't read that name, New Mexico. Tito, do I have a mentor or someone that I look up to? I kind of covered that in that last one. But I think my main mentor and someone that I look up to would be God. Because through him, all things are possible. Jesus is good, y'all. God is great. And family is beautiful. Let God into your life. You don't have to be a saint. You don't have to be perfect. I mean, yeah, I drink beer, and sometimes I slip and I cuss. But, I mean, who don't? Nobody's perfect. But that don't mean you can't have God in your life. Just because I got a skull on my shirt with some flaming hair and some pistons, that don't make me bad. I got tattoos on my arms. That's why I can't walk into churches. These are all memorial tattoos of people that I've lost that I love. My daughter, I've walked into churches and they've told me that I've got to leave because I can't walk in there with these exposed, that they're bad, that I'm a bad person because I have memorials of the people that I loved and still love on my body. So my church is right here. My church is in my heart because that's where Jesus Christ is. And I love Jesus Christ, and I love the Bible, and I love God, and I love church. But I haven't found the right church. When I do, bet your sweet little tail I'll be there. But yeah, Tito, that should be everyone's number one mentor. And I'm not going to push it on you guys. I'm not going to push religion on you. Like I said, I'm not a Bible-thumping Christian, but I am a Christian, and I do believe in God. This one is anonymous through email. What are your hopes for your channel? Well, I hope my channel can at least get a tenth as big as some of these other channels. I would like some good subscribers that like my content and learn something from my content. And if I make a few dollars from it, then so be it. But I want to take that money that I make and put back into the channel to go buy old cars and revive them and find them new homes. I can't keep all of them, although I'd love to. I don't have the room for it, and I don't think the DMV would like me too much with 847 registrations every year. It's not, no. You can't keep them all, you know? But the ones that I really like, I'm going to keep. And if I have to get rid of one or two to keep one that I like more than the other one, then so be it. But I want to find good homes for these cars. I don't want people turning them into derby cars or cutting them apart and chopping them. Stupid stuff. If you're going to build a street rod or a custom or a rat rod, and that's what the car's destined to be, then so be it. But don't take something that's beautiful and destroy it. Every vehicle has a purpose, and every vehicle is at a stage in its life through its patina and through its, aging stage of what it is good for. And some cars are really, really, really clean survivors, and they shouldn't be busted up and cut up. Some of them, they got some rot, they got some bangs and booms and bloms and blahs and whatever. You do what you can with it. Make it something else. Don't tear up a good car. How can viewers support you? By clicking that like and subscribe button and clicking that bell for notifications. Here in the future, I'm going to put a P.O. box in the description in my About Me. And if you guys would like to send me any kind of mail or any, parts, or you want to take a picture of yourself shooting a bird at me and send it to me, I don't care, Send me stuff, and if you're interested, I'll sign it and send it back to you, Write me a letter. Who knows? Somebody might get a hold of me and say, hey, I got this car in my barn, and I want to get it running. I don't want you to have it, but I want you to come get it running for me and make a video. I'll be right there. As long as you're not all the way across the country and I ain't got to fly somewhere right now because I got a family and a job, I'm willing to go to pretty much anybody's house in a 200-mile radius around my home here in Kentucky, and I will come get your car running. You provide the parts. I'll bring me, myself, my family, my tools, and you can meet SS Glade and my kids and my wife, Mama Bunny, and me, and we'll make a video on your property and get your car running and driving. You can email me. It's in my description. You can email me at the.homewrencher1776@gmail.com. Drop me a line. You never know unless you ask. Where do I see myself in 5 years? Well, hopefully right where I'm at, happy and content with my family and my life and my channel and my job, and just continue to grow. It's all any man could wish for. I don't want to be a millionaire. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to have a TV show or, I'd like to eventually one day do a revival with some of my mentors. Or maybe we do a venue together and do some burnouts and some drag racing and some road auto course or something. Or do a build off. Or do we all get together and do a build together? I would love to do that. We'll see what happens. Time takes time. If I had the attention of the whole world for 5 minutes, what would I say? Open your eyes. Quit listening to everything that the media keeps dumping in front of you and putting in your lap and putting on their news channels. Use your brain. Research. Do your research before you make up your mind about something or someone. Quit being racist. Quit making racist comments to people. Quit accusing people of being racist just because they're white or just because they say something. You know, that word is harsh. I don't see color. I don't care what color your skin is. There's two types of people in this world. You're either a good person or you're not. It's that simple. I don't care what country you're from, what God you worship. In the end, we all come back to the same God. We just have different views, and we all have different views. I say potato, you say potato. I say tomato, you say tomato. Whatever, paper, plastic, cardboard, steel, we all have our differences. And God made us that way, and that's what makes us unique and beautiful. So quit fighting. Come together, look at each other's differences, and find out what you have in common, and base your friendship and your relationship off of that. And quit picking each other apart. Quit fighting each other. Let's have world peace. Let's live in happiness. And let's just take care of this world and give something to our children in the future instead of destroy everything. That's all. What is my final thought I want to leave everyone with? Let's see. I've got two final thoughts. Get off your butt. Get out in your garage. Get out in your yard. Get out in your driveway. Get on your roof. Get under your house, in your basement. Wherever you park your car or your engine that goes to your car that you took apart 15 years ago, or the barn back there somewhere, and take your tools and get your butt out there and do something. Take some of these with you. Have a couple to drink. Invite some friends over that know what they're doing, and have a party and fix it. Get it running. Get it driving. Drive around the yard and do a donut in it and tear up your grass. That's the first thought I want to leave you with. You guys can do whatever you put your mind to if you try. And the last thought I want to leave you guys with is I love each and every one of you. All my new people, I welcome you to the channel. I hope you stay. I hope you like the content. I'm working on bringing more content to the channel. And the only other thing that I have left to say, my final thought is, reviewed